I brought you a message of hope. And by hope, I don't mean the false hope kind of thing. I mean real hope. Like everyone knows, I don't just say things because I want to say them out. Yeah, Messi. Thanks, Messi. Well, welcome. I'm not just saying it because I just want to make you feel good or make you feel comfortable, not to despair or something. No, I'm just telling you as it is. There are lots and lots of silver linings beneath the current pandemic. Believe it or not, I'm going to show you exactly how. I'm not trying to sound religious or tell you by faith. No, this is just real. Africa has no other choice than to industrialize. You see what's going on around the world? You think it's only in Africa that is causing economic problems? No, even the Americans are not spared from it. Even the Americans are not safe. Every country, you see, every country is now feeling the effect of shipping out their manufacturing base for cheap products from China. And by cheap products, I don't mean that Chinese products are not of high standard. No. China almost supply every country in the whole world right now. And a problem in China, you see this COVID-19, that is the reason where everywhere is shaking. The cost of food is high. The cost of everything is high. Why? Because people shipped their manufacturing base to China. The Americans started in the 70s. Now ask yourself, as I'm using Nigeria as an example right now, as a Nigerian, how many factories were open? How many, like when I mean factory, I mean where they manufacture things and employ lots and lots of people. How many of them were open when you were a kid and you were in the primary school? And how many of them are still open right now? They are closed, right? Now, those products they used to manufacture, have they been in short supply, or have we had abundance of them all? We've had abundance of them all. What happened? Most of those companies you see were owned, those days were owned by foreigners. By foreigners. The ones owned by the indigenous ones are owned by the government. And in case you haven't noticed, there is no progressive government. By progressive, I don't mean left wing. I mean a working government in Africa since 1980. Show me one. Show me a single government in Africa that has done better than they were in the 80s. Except for Rwanda. Except for Rwanda. I'll make that exception. That exemption. Are you understanding? Now, all those factories, all those jobs were shipped to China. Right now, a problem in Wuhan, 80% of the Chinese exports originate from Wuhan. And this place is the epicenter of this current global pandemic. That's where it started. The patient zero started there. Now the Chinese industrial base is disrupted. Now they have to feed their own people. In case you people don't know why things are expensive. Yes, there is a silver lining, but we are not there yet. It may take us 4 or 5 months to get there. But I assure you, at the end of the day, anyone who survived it, which will be like most Africans, any country whose population is not decimated by this, like it's happening in Italy and Spain, believe me, would have a real economic boom, whether you like it or not. whether they like it or not. Because one, there will be reindustrialization of the West. And by extension, it will get to Africa. If the current trend continues, we may not beg countries to give Africans visa before they give Africans visa. Yes, at the end of this thing. Why? Their population is really real. In fact, Europe don't have a replaceable population, a replaceable birth rate in the last 25 years at least. Now this thing is going to take away lives. For every 10 people taken in Europe, it is going to bring a huge problem that they may need 20 people to fill. Like jobs, construction works. All these things we neglect, they are the things the economy runs on. Every economy. Every one, each and every one of them. Now, the supply chain is disrupted in China. It is affecting everyone. Why? Because China is working like a contractor to every country you see. And China don't have the capacity to resupply everyone. So everyone must start producing things locally, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not, they must reindustrialize. And those people that didn't industrialize in the first place will have to industrialize. Whether they like it or not, I'm telling you. The global supply chain, I just stumbled upon I think an ABC or CBS news right now that's talking about the global supply chain. Mind you, this was done like a month ago. We are now living the reality. Ordinary ventilators. A country like the USA can't even produce enough ventilator for each citizen, let alone for export purposes. In Nigeria, just tell me, how long do you think it will take us to get 1,000 ventilators? Who will produce those ventilators? What country? Tell me. China? They are still busy trying to hold their place together. Forget the news you're hearing about China. This COVID-19 it has devastated China. China has lost not less than 100,000. In fact, that is being very conservative with it. It may end up being in tens of thousands. So people are going to source things locally right now, whether they like it or not. Whether they like it or not. Toilet papers. They are going to start producing it in Nigeria right now, whether they like it or not. Why? There is inflation, global inflation everywhere. Now, exporting it from China will now become more expensive. This is why I told you all that they have no choice than to reindustrialize or industrialize in the case of Africa. China will first produce and give to Europeans, Australia, and Americans before they ever look towards our direction. So when I say do not despair, believe me, do not despair. They have no choice. This is the day of reckoning. It has come. Wait, let me just play that news article for us. Let's just watch it. I don't want it to seem as if I'm just giving my own opinion. I want you people to know, some of us will want to hear it from quote unquote an authoritative source before they believe. Hold on, where is that thing I was watching? I think is this. Okay, yes, let's listen to this.
Most of the attention attention on the outbreak of this new coronavirus is appropriately focused on public health concerns in China and around the world. Here in this country, 66% of U.S. adults say that the virus poses a real threat to public health. That's according to the latest PBS NewsHour NPR Marist poll. As quarantines and travel restrictions multiply, many companies that rely on China are also hurting from this outbreak. William Brangham is back tonight with a look at the early economic fallout.
You've heard about major airlines suspending flights into and out of China, but you may not know that many large companies have also shut down stores and offices in the country. Others are halting work at factories within China, which can deal a serious blow to the global supply chain of parts and merchandise. Today, Hyundai Motor Company announced it will suspend vehicle production at most of its South Korean factories in 3 days because it can't get needed parts from China. It's the first car maker outside of China to make this announcement. David Lynch covers global economics for the Washington Post, and he joins me now. Welcome. Thank you. Sticking with this Hyundai announcement, they're basically saying we can't keep making cars if we can't get these parts coming out of China. Is it your sense that this is a harbinger of what's to come?
Well, that's the worry, that this is the canary in the coal mine, because Hyundai is not alone in the auto industry or in the global industries across the board in depending upon Chinese factories for key parts. The auto industry in the U.S. depends on Chinese suppliers for something like 15% of its components. Consumer electronics is even more dependent, up to 50% of what's needed for consumer game consoles, smartphones, laptops, computers, and the like. So if China goes offline for any appreciable length of time, that's a big problem.
And pieces in the Post really touched on, and I think for people who don't appreciate the role that China does play in the global economy and the supply chain, can you just explain a little bit more about its centrality?
Sure, and this is one of the big changes since 2003, which was the last time during the SARS epidemic that we saw this kind of runaway medical scare. China is now 4 times as large as it was then in economic terms.
4 times in 17 years.
Correct. $14 trillion economy. And it's also become the center of global production networks in any number of key, as we've said, electronics, autos, medical equipment, industrial machinery, pharmaceuticals. 80% of the raw materials used by American drug companies to make generic drugs come from China. So again, if there's any sort of lengthy interruption there, and we should say, we don't know how long this problem will last. If things come back online in a week or 2, this will be a hiccup, it'll be a bump in the road, it'll be forgotten pretty quickly. But the concern is, as this virus continues to spread and the Chinese authorities continue to struggle to contain it, how long is this going to last?
And I guess we're not epidemiologists. That's really the mystery, and that's the thing that they're trying to get to the bottom of. The other thing that you and others have reported that I didn't quite appreciate is how much of a domestic market. I mean, China, yes, exports to the world, but they themselves have a booming domestic market that we sell to.
Absolutely, and this is another big change. We've gotten used to thinking of China as a low-cost factory export platform for the world, but it's now the Chinese domestic market is the largest market for movies, for autos, for all sorts of consumer products like this, and American companies are there to sell into this. Apple, for instance, sold $44 billion worth of product in China to Chinese consumers last year. All of its stores in that country are now closed.
We understand that some of the quarantines for certain regions might be coming off, with the idea being that those factories could theoretically open again. But you were telling us before about the end of the Chinese Lunar New Year. Enormous number of people coming back into the cities, but it's not clear if they're going to be able to go back to work and if that's going to be safe for them to do so.
Correct. At the moment, the theory is that most of the factories will come back online on February 10th. But in Hubei province, which is where Wuhan is, the center of the epidemic, it's February 13th. And that's the current planning. As you say, typically at the Chinese Lunar New Year, this is the big annual holiday. So everybody floods out of the cities, goes home to their ancestral villages, coming back at a time when domestic transport has been interrupted because they're trying in the home market to use the same sort of isolation that is being applied globally to cut off that transmission, it may make it much harder than is normally the case for workers to get back to their jobs.
Responding to the economic fears about this virus, the Trump administration has been downplaying it, saying we don't think it's going to be a big impact here. And the stock market thus far seems to have not viewed this with too much alarm. Does that reaction surprise you or make you sanguine?
It surprises me a bit just because I think the downside risks here are obvious. The White House, Larry Kudlow, the National Economic Director, said last week that he didn't anticipate any material impact on the U.S. economy. That was early days. I think today he's said that they do anticipate an impact on the recently signed U.S.-China trade deal. China is supposed to be making enormous new purchases of American products, farm goods, energy, manufactured goods. These were ambitious targets, $200 billion extra over 2 years, an ambitious target before this crisis. Kudlow said today it's going to take longer than expected to get those export orders.
Okay, guys, please let me just put the number here because I want it to be an interactive, this thing. Wait, let me just put my number. WhatsApp only, please. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I've just pinned it right now. I've just pinned my number right there. Thanks, guys. Chimezuma Kwana. Are you seeing it? That was last month. Sorry, let me say this one very well here. That was last month. That was just last month. Now imagine where we are right now. It is now beginning to dawn on all of them. Thank you, my sister, for confirming that in the UK they are now using a local company to produce respirators. And my sister, Mary Ezekiel, in the USA, she's a health worker. As you can see, she's confirming how bad it is, and she's in New York. My sister, please, Bukwa Gweba Makakoro, Bukwa Gweba, protect yourself. Can you believe that the United States don't even have enough masks, N95 masks? They are not even producing enough for their local use. Now, look at what, did you hear what that guy said then? That China supplies them with the raw materials. Many raw, like in generic drugs, over 90%, not 80%, over 90% of the ingredients used in manufacturing of generic drugs in the USA are coming in from China. Almost 100% of their antibiotics are produced here in China. Now, let me tell you how stupid we Africans are. Most of all those raw materials you're seeing are being taken from Africa by the Chinese. Are you understanding me now? Most of those things are being taken from Africa by China. And now they will use it to produce for these people and sell to them. Meanwhile, the Africans who own these things, what stops us from dealing directly with the Europeans and the Americans and cut off the middleman? How about we set up factories in our place? Now, let me tell you the trick. When they tell you that your currency is worthless, believe me, an industrialized nation will want a very cheap currency. Not a very high one. Let me take a call. Hold on. Hello. Hello. I'm fine. Good evening, my sister. I'm fine. Please turn down the volume on the other one.
Yeah, I've turned it down.
Okay. Yes, use English, my sister. Yeah, use English. I know, Jenny.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you know he's on the line.
Jenny, your number is here.
Okay. Okay. See what happened? I'm trying to contribute to this particular issue.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Our government has failed us.
Of course.
They have really, really failed us.
Yes.
You know, you are talking about N95 mask now.
Yeah.
Most people, even if some of our senators, our government officials that wear the N95, have you noticed they don't even know how to wear the mask?
Oh, people are calling. Please let me call my sister back. Someone called and dropped it. They don't even know how to wear the mask. Please, I'm trying to call our sister back. Someone else called and dropped hers. Hello, my sister. Sorry, someone called and dropped yours.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So most of them don't even know how to wear the N95 mask.
Yes.
And do you know this N95 has sizes?
Yes.
It has sizes. What I'm gonna wear is not what Maz is gonna wear.
Yes.
I had a colleague, Moniame nursing back home in Nigeria. She wore it and she was eliminated. So it is that one. She didn't pass the nursing council, so she was eliminated. That time and elimination.
Yeah.
So I told her, I spoke to her. She put it on. I said, I told her, you're not wearing this thing correctly. Even if you don't know how, can you just Google it and watch some videos? People in the platform name me women fighting women. Do you know this lady from anywhere? I said, ask her, she knows me. I'm an student when we're in class, but only that lady Lord in Jehovah, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But everything on her by the time I get to go up walk night class, she used to go to that come here church. At the end of the day, she didn't pass the nursing thing. But what I'm trying to say, we have a lot to do in sensitization.
Yes.
Even this normal ones right? There is a way you even wait. You have to just press it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Press it, go on your nose.
Yeah.
Among all those things, everything about Nigeria is a scam. Everything about them is a scam. This coronavirus, let me tell you, it's not the way we think it is. It's not the. Initially, I was thinking it's something that I don't want to go to work. But when you go to work, you are going to, how do I say, you are going to learn a lot. Protect yourself. Do the basic. Do you get me?
I get
If
you.
do the basic, and our media is not helping us. They are trying. Are you hearing me? The media is not helping us. They are trying to make people to be afraid. A kind of trying to put an information of stay at home. So you have to stay at home. Do you get me? But tell the people the truth. China has scammed us. You're going to see some people that's listening. So you're going to see what is going to happen later. The whole money that Nigeria has been taking from China has been giving Nigeria, they're going to come back to us.
But my sister, hold on, my sister. 1 minute, my sister. 1 minute, my sister. I want to drive this to another direction, like in terms of scarcity of materials. You are in the USA right now. So how is the scarcity of how are they handling the scarcity of medical supplies over there?
Do you know what happened to us but I'm talking about where I work, yeah? I don't want to call the name. If anybody, you have my Facebook.
I understand.
Anybody who knows me very well can just Google where I work. There was a riot. Do you get me? There was a gang up. Like we have more than enough. But listen to me. We had more than enough before there was gang up. But they wanted an excess in case of unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you, everybody that's listening to me here, who have the mask, if they have to even sew extra uniform, with trailers of everything, we have extra uniforms. Whatever goes into the ward, right, does not come out. Whatever I use there does not, even if if I wear a cloth today and enter there, that cloth is never going to be used anymore.
Yeah.
Is it the fund? They are paying us, if like maybe, for instance, I take like $5,000 every month, right? I'm just giving an instance. But for the fact I volunteer to be coming to work while my other colleagues are not coming, I'm going to have extra $2,000. That is how the government has made it to be. Apart from the phone, you have excess things to work with. But my Nigerian people, now I have a friend who works with the Red Cross. She says she wants to volunteer. I say you can volunteer, but my fear is either is going to have enough materials to work with.
Yeah.
We have excess stuff to work.
But I was watching. Hold on, my sister. Hold on, my sister. Hold on, my sister. I was watching Tucker Carlson. I was watching Tucker Carlson tonight, and I saw nurses putting on garbage bags because they don't have enough uniforms to change. In fact, some of them had to reuse.
Which country? Which country?
In the USA. In the USA. In fact, in New York. I'm not
US. I'm in Canada.
Okay. You're in Canada. Okay. I thought you were in the USA.
I'll show you extra uniform.
Okay. I thought it was USA.
I'm not US.
Okay, my sister, no problem. Just take 2 minutes and wrap it up. Let me bring on someone else.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is it depends on the country you are. Do you get me? Our government, like, okay, for instance, Buhari does not give us updates. Follow Justin Trudeau every day. He comes out in his house, he makes a live video of updates.
Like
whatever thing is happening. So many, I'm going to send something to you to your WhatsApp, right?
Okay.
They have gotten the first stage of the drugs. And which I'm proud to be partaker of that kind of the drug that they make. The first stage has been gone, and they're even using people. Like now, for people here in Ghana, they're not working, but you know what they're gonna do? If you're not working, if you want to be a partaker, they're gonna use you to taste the drugs.
Yeah. And
you know how much they're gonna pay you? They're paying you so much money, $200. People are going there.
I'm not going to volunteer myself for that. I'm never going to be that lab rat. Let them continue.
You have to be a hero. It's not a lab rat.
Hero, let their children be the hero. My sister, hold on. Let their children be the heroes. Let their siblings, let their family members be the heroes. Please, I'm not looking to be the next Spider-Man. I'm not auditioning.
Somebody has to volunteer.
I'm not auditioning to be the next Batman. If they know the people that are benefiting from the system, let them do it. Thank you, my sister. Let me bring on someone else. 5 minutes, everyone. Let me call this person that called before while I was talking. We want to talk about the economic aspect of it right now. How the supply, I thought she was calling from the USA. Now, hello. Hello, brother. Please turn down the volume on the other one you are using.
Yeah, okay, I've already turned it down.
Okay, go on.
So I just want to have a little contribution to this.
Okay.
I love this your program. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
And I'm calling from Germany.
Okay.
And I'm from Edo State, you know, and I love Biafra so much. You understand? And I love what Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for, and it's really helping a lot. And I just want it to keep it up. Like, I know you are from Igbo, but like most of the Igbo people, like when they see the Edo people, they think maybe we the Edo people, we are different from the Igbo people. We are all the same. We are Africans.
My brother, let me tell you, my brother, all those ones now when fight never start. All those things now when something never, and people will get time, they do that thing. Now, since this coronavirus come, how many people remember say Edo different from Igbo? How many people remember say Hausa and Fulani no be the same thing? How many people? All those things now people will no get time.
Differentiate.
Yeah,
nobody they differentiates now. But we just want to let everybody for Nigeria know say, okay, yes, see what we dey face, because we dey see the whole things when they happen for the countryside.
Yes.
And you know they sweet our mind.
Yes.
They waste time like
Yes.
this, you understand?
Yes.
You understand? Like they beat people. For we Western world, they say stay indoor. You fit go supermarket, you go buy something, you go eat.
Yes.
You will chop, you will
Yes.
drink water,
Yes.
you will do any other things when you need to do.
Yes.
That one a normal human being, something.
Yes.
That's fundamental rights for any human being.
Yes.
But for Africa, there, for Nigeria, most Nigeria, for Nigeria, not be say I no go say Africa because Nigeria they concerned to me.
Yeah.
You understand? I know if we call Nigeria because Nigeria not be nation. Now they can say Nigeria is a zoo. Now zoo country. Animal country.
Almost every African country except Rwanda na zoo.
Zoo country, you understand? So for we now, we now fit go buy food for market. That is stop us, which is they don't provide any means for us to fit get any food for market. You understand?
Yes.
You know that kind of thing. I don't mind being stay for the youth when they like they need the youth with their first come outside, like we the youth with first come outside, these people they will feed the heat, like it will more than them. Not be the way they reason and say it will be for them. I just want to talk my own, that one on my own mind, but you know, like people when they fight for freedom, I know which is that they pass through. Like you sign your death warrant. You understand? For me, I don't care what I talk for here for this your platform, because no verse. You understand? What I want just talk, see, anybody won't get anything for him mind, just pour them out. You understand? Everybody's meant to die. People when they die coronavirus today, you understand? People when they die for this sickness when it comes today, you understand? Everybody they die. People they die for Italy, people they die for Germany, all the whole country, all the whole world. Even China, when they talk about, they don't report their case again.
Yes.
Now when they say that now they cause the virus when they happen for the world, and so they don't report their case again. But now people when they die for the world, nobody want to talk about those people again now. Like they do politics with this coronavirus now.
Of course.
Now which I just observed about the thing.
Course.
But Africa, when they say that they beat people, they kill people, they don't want to talk about that one. It's politics now. No, we talk the truth now.
No, my brother, see, na the nature of our people they show now. Now our nature they show. They don't brainwash us, they don't reprogram us so that we no get values for human life. Not be only Nigeria. Go see wetin dey happen for Senegal. Go see wetin dey happen for Uganda. Go see wetin. That is why I'm telling you that everywhere is a zoo continent.
I say Africa. I say Africa, but I say Nigeria because I come from where they call Nigeria, because I don't say they don't propaganda. Like we will not be Nigeria. Like I don't know where I come from. Like I don't say I come from Africa. A continent, like European continent, African continent. Like I know I come from continent, like African continent.
Yes.
I'm a black person. You understand?
Yeah.
And I need to act like black. Black, we get wisdom. God bless us. Okay, talk about this mask when you see that they do now. We love our own now. You understand? We feel produce mask our own. When these China people that they virus this mask, they they share them for us for Africa. We fit produce them. We get tailors. We get
my brother. Wait, I want to ask you. Make I ask you one question. Make I ask you one question, brother. Now we are.
Aba people, they fit produce plenty of this ventilator.
No be only Aba. No, wait, my brother. Talk gradually. I go give you time because this topic don't enter where we want talk now. See, you get a single thing where they use produce mask. Where we no fit source locally for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Hello? You dey hear me?
Yeah, I dey hear you. I dey hear you.
Shebi, you know say. Shebi, you know say everything where they take do mask and all these things where they need worldwide now. Shebi, you know say wetin they use produce all those things dey for inside Nigeria. No one where we go outside go collect. Sure, you know that one.
Now we get the materials now. Now we Africans there, they come collect the materials. But the only thing when they come they do now that they virus the thing, they share them for the whole world. You understand? But nobody wants to speak the truth. Everybody is scared.
My brother, no be really.
When you speak, If you speak the truth, you die. If you don't speak the truth, you die.
Bro, make I correct something. No, make I correct something. If the masks they infected, believe me, I know if you talk say China purposely do them. What thing they happen for China? Be say even sick people now they walk. So that work where they work, they contaminate. Then they contaminate the things where they even them themselves they do. Or some of those things where people they talk says China contaminate them. Most of them feel be the people where they handle and contaminate them. No be say they carry water for China, but make we talk the truth as it take be. Some of those things if it be for roads, now they contaminate all those things. And another thing be say that's why our sister talk. Many people go they use mask where they don't know how to use. Many people go carry their mask, go put everywhere, pack them for everywhere where they like. At the end of the day, they go put them back. They go say, China, don't do this thing. Don't do them or you never do them. China, they do many bad things, so but make we know they let our people off the hook. Because the bottom line be say, if they produce this thing for our own country, you don't need China. How much be Naira? How much be Chinese currency? How much it they cost to produce one for China? How much is supposed to cost to produce one for our own side? Why we know they produce that thing? Now be my question.
Because even for our own side, I bet no verse for what I want try to interrupt for you. Even for our own side, we get the means to take do fast, and it will produce many things. It will create job for our own country. It will produce many.
Of course.
If you watch you get some tailoring when they produce this face mask. If you see the way they produce them, even fine self. If you wear them, you will look more beautiful, like the way this other mask be. And that one they more protective than this one when it be said that they produce.
Yes.
Say China they give us. You understand?
Yes, bro.
You understand? So why we be say there's no one reason Africa? All the whole world now, they look Africa and say we are dumb, like nobody.
My brother, not the way we do ourselves.
Our leaders now they take us like that. Our leaders they don't want to let us know. Say, okay, yes, we get talent, we get everything we feel produce for this world. When we secure this world, or we get the mineral resources, or we get the everything when we say we feel use to secure the whole world. You understand? But they keep on these whole things, that they kill our talent. They know what, like, okay, I feel as for you, like, I be tailor.
Yeah.
You understand? I know how to sew. I feel sew that face mask. Or I be shoemaker. I know how to do shoe, like, I produce shoe, but I know how to do that face mask with shoe, all this leather. And leather come from Africa. You understand? So, something like that. They go down our brain. They will say, go use Marco.
My brother, okay, make I just correct you small. My brother, make I correct you small. Brother.
Do shoemaker run for the office. They pay people shoot. Because they pay their own shoe for house.
Wait, make brother. Wait.
Their shoe.
1 minute.
They are enjoying it. They laugh you.
1 minute, brother. 1 minute, brother. 1 minute.
They are laughing at us.
1 minute.
The world is laughing at us. Make them enjoy it. Everybody is facing this thing. Coronavirus don't know rich or poor.
Yes.
Now we say our best to tell our own that they listen to you.
Okay.
To your program.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for your contribution. Well, make I correct that, my brother. Government no need to do shit for you. Now you go take your hand, go do them. Don't wait for the government to say that this is how you're. If you know how to do things, please start doing things for yourself. Now, when the government comes to disrupt you again, let the masses speak for you and we will rise. Let me tell you now, how many people they see where they go worry people, producers now? Nobody, because everybody don't know the importance of industrialists. In a country where the richest people are not manufacturers, people who don't produce a single thing, this is what you get. Like I'm telling you people, economic nationalism is the way forward, whether they like it or not. Nobody is begging them to adopt it, but if they are to survive, this is what the people need to do. This is what the political class need to do. If they themselves is for their own sake, not for us. This is the crescendo. Where else are you going to push people? Lockdown. Let them continue this lockdown for the next 2 weeks and see if they won't have a revolution they can't control on their hand. What stops all of these things? Nigerians can produce ventilators, millions, and sell it to the world. Everything needed, every raw material needed to build this thing is in Nigeria. But we don't have the machines. Why? The people who are supposed to be producing these things have moved their factories a long time ago. PZ products are still in Nigeria. How many of them are still produced in Nigeria? Nestle are still in Nigeria. How many of their products are produced in Nigeria? Each and every one of them. Chemicals, imagine Nigerians will be telling you Chinese medicine, ginseng. Ginseng is in your backyard. Everything. China is supplying these people. They take from our place. Now we have a bunch of dummies ruling over us. And those are the people, those are our problems. Are you looking for the problem to your prosperity? That's the problem to your prosperity. You are not going to get it in any church or in anywhere. What stops us? Wait, how much is the Chinese currency? RMB. 1 RMB is how many naira? Now, if it costs 7 RMBs to produce a mask, how much do you think it will cost? It will cost less than. Now, look at the world map. Look at where Africa is. Look at where China is. Wait, let me get the world map and show you people. Please, bear with me. Hold on. I'm coming. My people, wait. By the time our people wake up, they will get as angry as I am right now. I'm coming. Let me show you people something. Let me show you something now. Oh, man. Africa, my Africa. Africa, my Africa. Oh. I weep for my continent. I weep for my continent. No kidding. I want to show you guys something. Let's just do this thing. Let's be practical for once. Okay. This is China. Oh, Russia. This is China. This is Nigeria here. This is the USA. This is Canada. Now, this is South America, Brazil and co. How can people be taking, these people be taking raw materials from here? They will take raw materials here, go here, produce it, then ship to these people, and these people. Even Europe and here. What stops them from putting factories here? You produce them here instead of having to transport it here first and produce before shipping. How about these companies that have these countries, the Europeans and the Americans? How about they set up their factories here? Source things locally, get it there, then ship to the world. It will be cheaper. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing it? Now, since these people can't do it, why don't the political class of everyone here, of every country here, why don't they build it themselves and manufacture things locally? Are you beginning to understand why I'm angry? This is this place is the raw material hub, yet they produce nothing. You still have to wait for these people that came here to took materials to produce for you and ship to you back and ship back to you. What does that even mean? Does that even make sense? Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to fix one or two things. I'll be using the computer very soon. I'm getting some materials ready. They are coming. I've ordered them, so I don't need to be switching it like this. I've ordered some materials. Are you seeing why it seems people like us are angry? You can't know what we know and not be angry. There is no manufacturing base, not one. Look at Nigeria. We don't even have up to 5,000 megawatts. Electricity. Now, how are you going to do that without electricity? Now, check the price of crude. If the current trend continues, in fact, some countries would be paying people to take their oil. Yes, oil price is down, yet a liter of gas is how much? Now, why don't the government make that gas cheaper? In fact, give gas subsidies to manufacturers who have electricity. Why not say in the next 1 year, every manufacturer is going to get diesel at a certain price so they can produce things. Now watch how everywhere will blow up. I think we need to do a special program on that one tomorrow. Imagine giving, why would you give subsidies to people who don't produce anything? Only consumption. Now, how about we stop shipping out raw materials and demand that anyone that is taking these raw materials as so quantity will have to be producing some of the things back home in Nigeria? Do you know how many jobs it will create? How many jobs do you think it will create? Huh? Just look at the job only MTN telecommunication gave us. Just imagine how many jobs we created. Now, oh, please. People, everything we need is within reach. We just need functioning brains. There is no reason someone like Muhammadu Buhari should be overseeing a local government in Nigeria. I'm not trying to knock him because the PDP guys, I'm knocking him alone because the PDP guys are not better either. They had 16 years to do this. They didn't do it. In fact, they killed whatever was left of our industry. Are you seeing? They killed whatever was left of our industry before 1999. Again, economic nationalism. Everything has to be done locally. Putting a ban on foreign goods is not enough. It's not going to do anyone any good. Guess what? You need those things now. You don't have them, you don't have them. And you have more populations to feed. Please, who amongst us here knows the population of Nigeria? No one does. Millions of people. We have the opportunity to lift each and every one. Now you start producing these things locally. If we start it in Nigeria, you see the way Chinese are owning Chinatown. Believe me, Nigerians will own Baltimore. Nigerians will own Houston. Nigerians will own all those places they reside in the USA. Why? Because most of the things, look at the Chinese in Chinatown, do you think they are making their money from the US? No, they are bringing things from their countries. That's why you go to everywhere in Europe. They got in Italy. Go and check, see what they are doing to Italy. In the UK, almost every member of parliament is in one Chinese pocket or another. This pandemic is just waking them up to the reality. Are you seeing it? Guys, please help me share this video. Let's see how far this video will reach. Take a moment and share it, please, and like and follow the page if you haven't done that. Please don't forget. My people, there is no, believe me, they have no choice. And the earlier they realize this, the better. We need to start working before one runs away from Nigeria. I know why I'm telling them this. It doesn't look like this is going to stop anytime soon in Europe. Middle East is not safe from this. All those people are getting depopulated. They need workers. They need hands. Soon they will start. You know what happened in Europe after the Second World War? This is what is this. Europe is in war footing. Where are they going to get people from? From China? No, the Chinese want to build their places. From the Middle East, most of the Middle Eastern countries are trying to build their homes. Are you still hearing the drums of war? You see all those American naval ships, they are just there gulping money for nothing, and there is only a limit to what you can spend. Let them keep printing this fiat currency, 4-point-something trillion dollars stimulus. No, what they mean is printed currency, and they've been printing since last September. Non-stop. The repo market is broke. And no matter what, believe me, they will soon be drawing down on this their military nonsense. Then those people will want to rebuild their countries. Where are they going to get the workers from? From Africa. By then, let me see how they will tell the people to stop living. When you don't produce something for them, these people, if anyone hearing me is close to these people, warn them. Warn them. What will hit them will be worse than coronavirus if they don't start industrializing right away. Right away. They have no choice. They have no choice. And when this lockdown is over, believe me, I would be here making videos after videos. We will incite the people to make demands, because power don't concede anything. Power concedes nothing. I repeat, a powerful person does not negotiate with a weak person. And you don't negotiate from a position of weakness. We've been trying to negotiate from a position of weakness, and it has not worked. Right now, we are in a position of power. When this lockdown is over, expect me to call for doctors to go on strike. Yes. People will be down in tools. They will know that the rich men need the poor more than the poor need the rich. It's just that the poor are not intelligent enough to understand it, to piece those things together. We are going to do that. The world is changing for the better for us. As long as you're alive, I will be here in November to remind you of all these things. As long as you remain alive, believe me, the future is bright. Do not despair. You don't need any prophet to tell you this is not a prophecy. No. This is what will happen and what must happen. This is as clear as day. They either industrialize or go to waste. Each and every one of them. And none of them will be spared of this. Thank you everyone for watching me. Thank you for spending time with me this late night. Those of you I know you'll be itching to go to bed. Please help me share this video before you go to bed, and follow me on this page. Follow me on my other page too, Mazi Chukwuka Chizorom. Then subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ijele Speaks, the same name. You say go there. I have nice contents there. Some of these videos I'm uploading them there later at the end of the day. Thank you everyone for joining me, and see you soon. Bye.